The following tutorial is an overview of FlexMLS Maps in FlexMLS. To access FlexMLS Map, you'll log into MLS, In your main menu tree, click on Maps Financial, and then FlexMLS Maps. And this will load up our map. Now, FlexMLS Maps doesn't have anything directly to do with listings. It's just a basic map that you can get good information from. For example, let's say you have a listing appointment and you're not quite sure of where the address is. If you're already in Flex, instead of opening up to Google Maps or another mapping service, you can just simply click on FlexMLS Maps, enter in the address in the Locate Address box. So we'll type in an address there. And I'll hit locate, and this will locate that address on the map for you. Now, the way that you navigate this map is the same way as you navigate other maps in the system. You can hold down your left mouse button and drag it in any direction. The pan arrows you can use also to move it in a direction. You can use the zoom tools, plus sign to zoom down, minus sign to zoom up. You can double click to zoom in, or if you have a scroll wheel on your mouse, you can push it forward to zoom in, or you can pull it back to zoom out. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit. So here, once it locates the address, you have some options in the address bubble. You can see a street view of the address by clicking the Street View link. This will open you up to Google Maps that will give you a street view satellite map of that property. Alright, so there it is. I'll close this tab. There's a bird's eye view. This opens up in Bing Maps. That gives you a bird's eye view of the property. Alright, I'll close that. If you'd like, if you'd like to remove the pin, you can click Remove Pin. That'll remove the pin from the map. If you want to keep the pin but you want to get rid of this address bubble, close it. You can just close it there. To get the bubble back, just click the pin. I'll keep it closed for now. Alrighty. Moving down to some of the tools that you see down at the bottom of the map. This is the distance measure tool. This will measure the distance between points. So let's say, for instance, I drove from this area here, which looks like Roosevelt and Fond du Lac, to this property, and I didn't write down my mileage. So by just mapping the route that I took, I'll left click to turn on that distance measure tool. I'll click at my starting point, and then I'll just take the route that I drove. And then every time I make a turn, I'll left click, and there I am. So you get a segment total and a trip total, so that you can record that there. To turn this tool off, you just click on the gloved hand. To zoom down quickly on an area, that's your zoom in tool, so you left click that, and you hold down your left mouse button in this case, and once it's covered, the area covered that you want, you let it go, and it will quickly zoom you down into that area. And then to turn this tool off, let me hit back, you just hit the gloved hand. Okay, now we can see the lot, and I'm going to double click down to see a little bit more detail. You can also use the Parcel Info tool, so I'll left click that and left click on the lot. It gives me the dimensions, it gives me the tax key record, and I can click that and open that up. I'll just close that. And if it's ever been listed in MLS before, it will give me a listing activity history of the property address. And I can click on that number there, and it'll open up the data sheet for that property. I can also click on any lot here. Looks like that one's been an MLS number a long time ago. Click on this one. That one's never been listed in MLS. To turn this tool off, I'll click on the gloved hand. You can switch to the satellite view if you'd like, or switch back to the map. Under overlays, you can see the acres for the properties. So this is a good way to record the acreage coming from public records. All communities do not have this, so if you turn this tool on and you don't see it for your community, it's not available. Some other overlays that you can look at is by zip code, and I'll zoom up so you can see that a little bit better. There's also one, there's the zip codes, for counties and neighborhoods. This will conclude our tutorial of the FlexMLS Maps.